Hello and welcome to Open Waters. This is one of the best games that has ever been played on this map, I believe. I haven't actually seen who wins. Saw quite a bit of it. We got Tag Rock going first land with Siren, the godfather of Tag as well as Siren. And we got Tag Uber going here first there with Seraphim. So two Tag players going at it. Should see very high quality play. Speed it up at first. And now we're gonna see the first bomber from Geek and see how well it works here. It's a larger map. Cyber and Kit put their scouts onto water, so you can't really get early detection. But we'll see how Rock deals with it. Looks like he's going after the Hydro quick. He's got 3 P-gens and a Hydro, then you're gonna go second air. That's really a lot of power. Early on, we already see a naval factory planned for Uber or for Rock, and here we see a bomb hits Rock's ACU. We already see 2 flags. Looks like 3 total flags that are going to be created here by Rock. This bomber gets out of there as fast as it can without getting any kills. Now we're going to see second, third land from Ubergeek. This bomber here in the corner, it can look for expanding engine. Usually on this map you want to get onto these side body masses where you really have the most mass extractors. The middle also has 6 mass extractors, but whoever controls the side really can control this game. Of course, starting positions are also quite good. Now we are seeing interceptors and bombers from Rock. Already 2 interceptors in the air. We see a patrolling one here. It's going to spot that bomber, so this first bomber from Ubergeek is a bit of a waste. Except that he forced Rock to make 3 flags over his base. Now here comes a bomber. Both players are going to be looking at these expansion slots. Rock's going to be looking here and here. Ubergeek is going to be looking at these areas if he can get an air force. So one big advantage for Seraphim here. I'll speed this up. Floating flak and water maps, huge advantage. You can put a lot of damage per second anywhere you can float to. You can see it's a pretty large force. Looks like a lot of air factories planned here for Ubergeek, at least 4 of them. Already has 2 land, now getting a naval factory. And looks like Rock is going to the middle while Ubergeek is actually going to this expansion. That's a long way to travel instead of going a short way, but it looks like he wants to take that position. And he's got groups of floating arty, 3 each, probably looking for expanding engineers. However, given, well, air control is hard to call here, but it looks like a couple more airplanes for Rock, but it is a 2v1 in terms of interceptors here. But bombers are quite good against Arty. Arty doesn't have too much health, so 1 bomb kills him. You see already a few wrecks, and the first air fight of this game, first of many. And it looks like Rock will take it. And there's an engineer here from Ubergeek trying to dodge bombs. Was successful for a little while, but it's taken out. So that's a huge victory there for Rock. And here there could be another one if this bomber can take out this engineer. It is successful, so no expansions for Ubergeek. However, Ubergeek does make it to dry land here. He's going to get a few mass extractors in a factory. Can't kill an ACU with a T1 bomber. And here comes a drop now from Rock. You see he's dropping NGs all over this place, so he's going to get a lot of mass. You can see here it's 9 plus another 9, 10, so 19 mass extractors, I believe. Or actually, there's another one. 20 mass extractors on each one of these half islands. This is not a good place to fly your airplanes if you're Rock. There's a couple of stationary flags here for Ubergeek. 2 kills for this one. Going after mass extractors, takes 3 bombs and actually takes one of those out. And now we're seeing a bad situation for Ubergeek frigates versus floating arty. But however, Ubergeek now has a couple torpedo submarines coming in. T2 air now from Rock. He's been living on a single air factory here. Quite a few NGs on it. And he's got gunships and torpedo bombers moving out. He's got a torpedo bomber right there. He's going to go after these submarines. The submarines take out the frigates. And these gunships are going to be very powerful early on, given the early air domination from Rock. However, it doesn't look like the interceptors are really helping out. And a pretty large air force from Ubergeek as well. Yet another fight, and looks like it's very even. And both players decide to retreat. Although Rock definitely has the numbers. And Rock's T1 bomber is still doing a lot of damage. Looks like some of them are actually running out of fuel. 10 kills for this T1 bomber. He's looking for some more. The other bomber here, 2 kills. And on the other side, oh, you can see Rock really, this is a huge mass boost here for Rock, and you can see his interceptor spam very fast. And here we got an air fight over Ubergeek's ACU, who's spamming a lot of T1 anti-air. You really don't want to fly. And here come the frigates. They're going to keep Uber out of the water here. And Rock's sitting here on the main island getting an upgrade. The middle island. These gunships are going to be extremely useful for Rock. He's looking for any expanding NGs. He's not going to find any. In terms of map control, big advantage for Rock now. Both middle and side base. Well, Uber is just halfway done with his side base. Sitting on the edge of the water here. Got a couple engines. Looks like he's going to have to rebuild a few units there. Mass extractors and hydros. And these 2 gunships from Cybern, very useful. About 1,000 health each. Very good against large groups of units. You can see here scouting from Ubergeek. He's going to see things he's not going to like. And perhaps more drops. You see T2 power from Rock. T2 Navy from Rock making T1 submarines with a T2 shipyard. It's strange to see. But here we got a small Navy and a lot of dead units in this water, so you want to send NGs there. And this is a great move there that, yeah, we just saw these gunships attack and pull back over a T2 flak, and Ubergeek did not fly over. If Ubergeek followed those gunships right over this T2 flag, it'd have about 20 kills. That was a great move from both players. And we got a frigate and submarine moving in on this T2 factory. This T2 factory is working on a frigate. This frigate is going to be killed. That's a pretty big mass loss, a few hundred mass. We're going to see these gunships counter. Ubergeek is going to avoid the middle and going to go in to kill off these gunships. It's going to be a big loss. And Rock is going to come in, so it's a very important air fight here. Looks like Ubergeek might have the numbers. But of course, flying here over this flak, you don't want to go there if you're Ubergeek and he does not make the mistake. Some torpedo bombers get taken out. And now you can see Ubergeek making pretty good progress in terms of taking back some of those mass extractors. A couple of T1 submarines get killed by destroyers. So really big T2 naval spam here from Uber. Destroyer frigate versus a cruiser, and you would say that destroyer would beat the cruiser. Of course, this cruiser from Cybern does have the range. An unsuccessful drop from Ubergeek. That's plenty of Mantis to take out any number of dropped arty. And here's a cruiser, a very good weapon from Seraphim, long range missiles. Of course, TMD defends that very well. Of course, it has very good anti-air capacity. Here comes a drop from Ubergeek. That's probably wishful thinking. We got many T2 mass extractors plus T2 factory here from Rock, a very important base here for Rock. See cruiser now with 5 kills. Destroyer moving in. Cruiser for Rock. And Rock does have the missile launcher plus stealth and T2. So 3 different upgrades on this ACU. You can see those torpedoes on the ACU, very long range. And this cruiser gets taken out by the ACU. It's one big advantage for Cybern, is this ACU can fight very well underwater. And actually both destroyer and cruiser and the frigate get taken out. This 16 kills for this cruiser, protected by a stealth field. Now looks like the cruiser is moving in on Ubergeek's position. Uber is at T2, getting some T2 power. Definitely good targets here for a cruiser, as long as it doesn't get too close to be overcharged by the ACU. And this is so much taken here from Rock. You might be even thinking about going T2. Looks like there was an unsuccessful drop, something like that. A lot of anti-air turrets. I can see Uber thinking about overcharging, but can't get close enough. Good placement from Rock. We got another destroyer coming in and a cruiser plus a bunch of frigates. One thing to note, and now finally Rock gained some T1 naval factories. Ubergeek making both T1, T2 Navy. That combination is always very good. And now we just saw the cruiser get taken out and a T2 submarine get reclaimed by Ubergeek. He's got T2 ACU. If you don't have torpedoes, just use your reclaim. It's very nice. And now we're seeing a couple 4 T2 ships here in this position for Ubergeek. So this naval battle get a little more exciting, and we got a pretty big T2 power spam here. T2 point defense in case floating flag tries to get in. Some TMD. This is a serious base here. A lot of air spam. See the air spam for Ubergeek. That's a lot of T1 factories, and this is not a good place to fly if you're Ubergeek. A lot of flak. And now we are seeing T2 bombers coming in from Rock, attacking some of these ships. Looks like the cruiser was taken out. Still 3 destroyers, 4 destroyers, and 5th here comes another cruiser. One thing that is very good for Seraphim is floating flag. If you want to get one of these factories to T2, the floating flag just massacres, well, T2 flag in general. If you can put it anywhere in the water, huge advantage for Seraphim on a water map. And now Rock could be in a little bit of trouble. He's got a single, 3 T2 subs. He has some stealth, a T2 torpedo launcher, and an ACU. And that's a whole bunch of planes out of gas just getting massacred. Numbers advantage here for the Seraphim Navy. If they wanted to move in, that's going to be a lot of kills for this cruiser. 23 kills. More destroyers coming in for Ubergeek. And perhaps going T3 here with that Navy and yet another destroyer. We do see a couple transports here for Ubergeek. Perhaps he's thinking about a drop. And now we're seeing torpedo bombers going up against cruisers, and that cruiser got wiped out after getting 43 kills in another air fight. See a pretty big submarine force here. Submarines, large numbers, work very well. They can help each other with their anti-torpedoes. And we got an engineer here from Ubergeek who is going to try to reclaim a T2 submarine, and Rock is there as well. This is kind of crazy. I think he's capturing it. Yeah. Now he's going to capture it. So he just captured Seraphim technology. So now probably a bad move from Uber there. He just gave a huge advantage to Rock. He's got both Seraphim and Cyber now. Now we're seeing the submarines moving in. But a very nice counter from Uber. You got this T2 torpedo launchers from Seraphim. These are deadly against submarines. Of course, Cybern has the T3, which is better than that. 4 destroyers left for Uber, and a lot of mass in this area. So whoever controls this area can get a lot of free mass. A lot of engineers moving in. It looks like it's a very nice air spam here from Rock. He's consistently had more air than Ubergeek. And here's an attack, some T2 destroyers plus a lot of floating flag coming in. He's going to try to put pressure on Rock here. Rock's got TMD as well as some T2PDs, so there are a couple of vulnerable TMDs here from this destroyer. He had another air fight. A lot of flag here for Uber and transports. It looks like Rock was trying to build something. Getting taken out by the destroyers. And you can see total air domination here from Rock. Ubergeek's hiding next to his flag here. There's a T2 flag, so you don't want to fly there if you're Rock. Some shields now planned for Uber, so you must be thinking there's going to be trouble coming. There is a T3 sonar here, stealth sonar, and Rock taking on the last torpedo launcher, actually using his ACU. 4 submarines survive, a couple destroyers still alive. And here all these units are invisible. That's a huge advantage of Cybern. Just saw a bunch of torpedo bombers move in. And yet another victory for an engineer. Just reclaimed another submarine. Looks like this place was complete, taken care of, total air domination with T2 gunships. On a map like this, having air control and T2 gunships gives you a lot of possibilities. And we are now seeing T3 submarines from Ubergeek. These are excellent units, very long range and very high damage per second torpedoes. But yeah, now they're going to be taken out. They also have very good anti-air guns, but taking on this many torpedo bombers is probably too much to ask from these. Yeah, Navy really does get dominated by Cyber Navy gets dominated by air. All the other navies have solutions. For example, Seraphim can spam a lot of T2 flak, which is probably exactly what Ubergeek needs right now. Much less expensive than one of these submarines. And put like 20 T2 flaks in this area would be very big trouble for Rock. Because with these T3 submarines, Cyber Navy, without the help of air, and you can see this one's just massacring air here. 22, 23 kills. T3 subs can be a big problem for Cyber Navy. But now, given this total air domination, they really have no chance to show themselves. 33 kills for this one. And here it is. There it goes. It's going to be a very nice chunk of mass. Some interceptors from Ubergeek. Living dangerously here in the cloud of rocks. T1 area. He must have like 100 interceptors. And now trouble for Ubergeek. He is making shields, Seraphim shields versus Cyber and cruisers. This can be made to shoot at ground. Their anti-air weapon can be switched to hitting ground. Very good at breaking down shields. It's really one advantage Cyber has, the counter to a shielded Navy, but can work against ground shields as well. You can see here Ubergeek did a lot of teching. This would be a big loss if Rock dropped in this area. We see a lot of flak here to defend, but a couple of T3 units dropped in there would be a huge loss. And this is a lot of taking here, a lot of T2 power from Rock. Very nice T3 mass extractors. So Rock has a massive economy. And now we are seeing Rock has switched to using the air guns against shields, and you can see it's about double the damage per second of just using the main gun. Ubergeek desperately trying to get shields up, and he's successful. We see a bunch of missile launchers here. Not sure if he used those yet, but there's plenty of TMD for Rock. Of course, Cyber and TMD very effective. And here comes T3 Navy from Ubergeek, trying to save the day. That was very close for Ubergeek. And actually, these submarines are very deadly against cruisers. There's a destroyer there as well. You can see these subs, these ships are sinking very quickly. So good work from Ubergeek. That was very close for him. Of course, all these subs are going to die to the Navy eventually. Still 3 destroyers here. Destroyers not quite as good as cruisers against shields, and here comes a snipe. Not sure where that's going to go, or whether or not it's even going to make it. It did not make it. Plenty of TMD for Rock. You can see the submarine's still alive, and now there's some very large chunks of mass in this water. There's probably enough to make a couple of experimentals in there. And do we see any experimentals yet? See T3 power from Ubergeek, a big T3 submarine spam. Rock here, T2 air here, big torpedo bomber spam. And this is a very high level game. Getting a few more of these T3 mass extractors. This factory is going T3. And unit limit could be a problem here at minute 34. I'm going to slow this down. You can see 862 units for Rock is reclaimed 18,000. He's got plus 5,000 power. Ubergeek has reclaimed 21,000 and he's got plus 7,000 power. He's got 20,000 mass in the bank, so his economy is very good. Extremely good economy. And here we got some frigates who are lost, taking on a T3 Navy. Get wiped out. And looks like Rock uses planes that are running low as fuel as scouts. These are going to be slaughtered. And that's a lot of torpedo bombers here for Rock for emergencies. And perhaps Rock should stop attacking these shields. There's really good targets here. A couple of T2 mass extractors plus T2 power. He can also move up here perhaps. And now once again, torpedo bombers versus submarines. It's tragic to lose these. Of course, they do leave the right because if you have NGs. And at this point, looks like Ubergeek actually has the better eco. And one thing to note with this unit limit, Cybern has a huge advantage with the hives. Eventually, you want to get rid of some of these engineers. So T1 power generators, and we are seeing T2 Navy Seraphim, so Rock is going to be using Seraphim. Also has plenty of Seraphim factories. And now we've just seen another example of air completely dominating submarines. Very sad for Seraphim Navy there. Uber's got plenty of shields here. Seraphim shield is just too strong. Whole bunch of engineers here. Looks like they're repairing the destroyers. Probably should be just getting that mass. Couple more T3 mass extractors for Ubergeek. And T3 engineers here for Rock. A lot of T3 mass extractors as well. And after about 36 minutes, you gotta say, well, it's very hard to call who's got an advantage. Definitely a naval advantage here from. Looks like a snipe attempt, trying to take out a couple of those destroyers. They don't have TMD. Naval advantage and air advantage for Rock, but a huge economy here for Ubergeek. So he's got a lot of options with this economy. We might see nukes. We got shields, plenty of T3 power for Ubergeek. Sitting here, it looks like a T3 ACU. He's going to lose a few of these mass extractors eventually. Another snipe attempt. Now we are seeing 7 destroyers. And these T3 subs just continue to move out. It looks like cruisers as well now. And this middle island being contested by some floating arty. These are very good units here, no matter what time it is in the game. The ability to go on water. T1 units, very useful. Very cheap and very useful. And here is the power of these torpedoes. They can outrange the torpedoes on these ships and do a lot of damage. There goes the destroyers. So without an air cover, these T3 submarines, a very big pain. See what Rock is planning here. T3 power, plenty of engineers. He can make a megalith, he can make a bug if he wanted to. He definitely has the air control. A lot of T2 flak here. And looks like a massive drop is planned for Rock. Let's see how that turns out. Although he's got to worry about his unit limit. And more torpedo bombers sniping at those submarines. Although now with a few of these cruisers, the cruiser is much cheaper than a T3 sub. Probably better into air, so it looks like that's what Ubergeek is doing. I still do not understand why he doesn't have like 50 T2 floating flak just all over the place. On water, he could have total air domination. Now we're seeing this flak here. Plenty of kills. Took out a whole bunch of... Yeah, that was a lot of dead interceptors. Rock is having to retreat. He is making T3 submarines of his own, so he's using Seraphim. And these together with stealth, I can imagine that's a very powerful weapon there. T3 submarines with stealth, that's very nice. The only thing that will make it better if Rock made T3 floating shields, put it above this Navy, and that's about as good as it gets. Seraphim T3 shields with a cyber Navy. Looks like a scout here from Rock, but you can see how much flak there. So a drop would be, you can actually put a drop right there. You don't want to put a drop there, but a drop there, a few bricks, just run everything over. And here is a chicken. It's just been completed by Ubergeek. And this is pretty shallow water here, so this chicken can be used as a very big battleship. And here's another snipe. Looks like it was going to hit the chicken, but it's a little late. Ubergeek making more T3 anti-air. And this Navy just got a big reinforcement here with this. However, I probably wouldn't, that's a very dangerous place for the chicken with this much Navy. And that's a lot of T3 submarines and a massive cyber force here, plus it's all stealthed. And this chicken does not have torpedo capabilities. It's sticking its head out of the water, just getting smashed. It will kill a couple of destroyers, but you can see how quickly it's losing health, plus gunships, and that's a lot of T2 bombers. That chicken died extremely fast. Very nice counter to a chicken. It's going to be a huge chunk of mass for Rock. And another floating attack here from Ubergeek, commanded 41. That was a failed attack from Ubergeek. He's completely lost his navy, he only has a few ship left. And we are seeing now Rock has total control over air and navy. almost auto control, and that could be big trouble for Uber. And this is looks like Rock forgot that he's making these, because there's really no that's crazy to have that many transports. Another chicken plant for Uber Geek. Still haven't seen any nukes. Maybe I just haven't looked hard enough. We see T3 air for Rock. Rock sitting at T3 ACU. Massive T3 submarine spam. And I still don't understand why we don't have floating flag from either player. No excuse. Here's another chicken. So we're gonna see two chickens here from Uber Geek, and we gotta notice the chicken from the top can attack this base. Of course, given this much build capacity and this much eco, it would be no problem for Rock to pump out two spiders extremely fast to defend this base. It's a question of not how soon he'll see that chicken. And more attacking here against Uber. Destroyers moving in. And now he's got his own T3 submarines. Got a T3 sub on T3 sub action. Cruisers don't stand a chance. 3v3 here. Destroyers also have pretty good capabilities. And now we're seeing a whole bunch of engineers moving out for Rock. He's got so many units, he might as well just throw them over there and get all that mass. And at this stage of the game, minute 43, really mass has no bearing in what people can do. It's probably more power and build capacity at this point. And looks like, oh, I just saw those shields go down for a second. This could be trouble for Uber Geek unless he can get that chicken out very fast. Uber Geek attacking. Uber Geek's naval spam is extremely impressive. He just keeps losing navy over and over, but he always has one. He can produce it faster than it gets killed, which is very impressive. So here's the gift that Rock is taking. It's a massive naval battle here. Chicken's nearly done. Up on top, the chicken's also done. More shields for Uber Geek, plenty of T3 power. It's a very valuable place here for Uber Geek. If he lost all that T3 power, it'd be extremely tragic. Rock has a little bit of T3 power here as well as on this island, but this is really a huge chunk of economy for Rock, still with a T1 mass extractor. I think I just saw something funny. There's a battleship. If Rock beats Uber Geek with a Seraphim battleship, that would be very impressive. That would be very nice. It looks like this Navy is thinking about attacking Uber Geek, but there's a very nice weapon under some shields, some more snipe attempts. It's very disrespectful to take somebody's engineer and turning into a battleship. And this battleship can build nukes. That would be very nice style from Rock. And here's all these transports waiting to pick something up. And then we got support for this chicken. We got some subs plus some cruisers. And I finally see floating flak. Uber Geek has heard my prayers, and this floating flag is going to really make a huge difference for him. And here we just saw a whole bunch of destroyers get wiped out. 9 kills. Those are 9 huge kills. Perhaps a mistake there from Rock. Good defense from Uber Geek. And Rock might have a little bit of trouble. That set of about 10 destroyers was really big security for his navy. Doesn't have that anymore, so it's pretty even. Can't say he doesn't have enough engineers around his factory. His naval spam is very nice. And here we got gunships trying to take on Navy, and you can see what happens. They all get wiped out very quickly. It's a cruisers plus flag doing its job. Uber Geek moving in with, this is big trouble for Rock. Yeah, Rock definitely did not expect this. This chicken's going to get massive amounts of kills, very important units. We should be seeing spiders being built here by Rock, and it doesn't look like he's doing that, so he must have a different idea. Here comes the battleship. He's going to try to break through these shields. This is bad trouble. Very nice air cover too. 87 kills for this chicken. Rock's got to do something fast, and he's not doing it. Oh, this is tragic.
Very tragic here. 128 kills for that chicken. This battleship's got a few kills. Gonna try to break through the shields. T3 shields now from Ubergeek. Very difficult to break through that. And Seraphim really showing their power in late game with those shields and the chicken. Seeing great things. Where is the... No, it looks like Rock has given this base up. He's just destroyed all the engineers. He's counting on this battleship to be able to break through the shields, which probably not a good idea unless, yeah, he's making strat bombers now. If he can put a lot of damage per second on those shields and allow this destroyer or this battleship to break a few of them, Ubergeek is going to be a lot of trouble. Looks like Ubergeek is going in front of the chicken. There's a chicken here. We might see a chicken versus battleship. This is the MVP here of this game, 184 kills. This chicken getting massive kills, taking out T3 powers, which will have an effect on Rock's ability to produce T3 air. We see multiple spiders and an anti-nuke for Rock here at his main base. And this game has just swung really heavily in Ubergeek's favor. There is a nuke also for Ubergeek, just noticed that. It's already getting a missile. More T3 power for Ubergeek. And here come the bombers. Seraphim shields winning the day here. Battleship with 9 kills. Can't do too much. And this is very impressive navy here for Ubergeek. He can probably move in. This anti-nuke should be loaded. Gotta get some shields on it. Power problems for Rock. He lost a lot of his power to this chicken. 216 kills on the chicken. Snipe attempts. That battleship isn't getting the job done. This chicken's moving out. We're gonna see this chicken try to kill this battleship, and that's gonna be tragic for that battleship. Doesn't look like there's a way back for Rock unless he does something crazy. And Rock has thrown in a towel as soon as he lost his battleship. An extremely tough battle here, and we just saw Seraphim Shields win this game. I really enjoyed it. Hopefully people did too.